Hey there guys, how's it going? It's Adam here for another video, and again in today's video we're doing another one of our pre-con powering upgrades. This one is for the Spirit Squadron, the blue-white commander deck from Innistrad Crimson Vow. Alright, so we're talking about the new blue-white spirits deck here for the Crimson Vow set, and it's interesting deck, you know, first real like spirit tribal commander, Mercilent Reckless Revelant, 5 white blue 4/4 flyer. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each spirit we control whenever it or another non-token spirit we control dies or deals combat damage to a player. We've put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying into play. So that's a pretty neat ability, you know. Like, the idea here, to me, you know, again, to me, is to go wide with lots and lots of spirits, buff up our spirits somehow, get in there with lots and lots of damage, and kill our opponents with spirits. Like, that's one of the, you know, things that we have to try to do with this deck. And, you know, like, we've got some spirit payoffs and whatnot, and whatever. We've got some other tricky shenanigans that we're going to be doing in this deck and whatnot. We're not just, you know, aggro beatdown or whatnot, or in the air aggro beatdown as much as, you know, you could want to be in this deck. We're still doing some tricky, different shenanigans with this deck because, you know, hey, it's spirits and we're in blue-white. So what do you expect, you know, kind of thing. We're going to be running some, you know, creatures, obviously, that are in this deck probably already, because I haven't actually looked at the deck list again. I'll get looking into the deck list in just a minute, but again, we're going to be running a whole bunch of things that counter spells and, you know, bounce people's things and exile people's things and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to have lots of, you know, tricks and whatnot. We're going to have lots of effects that sort of, neg power or neg toughness or whatnot. These sorts of little things, whatnot. It's interesting to see that this commander can cost essentially, you know, just blue-white every single time, no matter how many times it dies, as long as we've got enough spirits to keep bringing this thing back. So I'm sure that there'd be a couple combos that we could do with this, because when it or another creature dies, we can make a spirit. So, you know, like, if we have Phyrexian Arena, or whatever it is, the one that makes coloured mana anyway, you know, it's 1 mana, you know, like, you know, so that's insane. Like, we kill our commander, it goes back to the command zone. Oh, look, we've got 1 floating mana. Oh, look, we just so happen to have 1 more open mana. Oh, look, it's our commander's back. Oh, look, we can play it and sack it, and then make another spirit, and just keep going back and forth, just keep casting our commander. We have infinite, you know, enters triggers, we have infinite dies triggers. I'm sure we can find ways to win, because somehow we can probably make, at that point, we can just make infinite spirits, and therefore we can just make infinite mana if we've got those things going. So there's certainly things like that we could do. I'm not super sure, like, you know, like, how likely or how whatever, you know, that will be or whatnot. But again, that is a thing that we could do. Of course, we're not just going to do that completely, because again, you know, not every plan is going to be, you know, 100% accurate all the time. You know, we could run a whole bunch of, you know, white spell-based stuff that, you know, tutors some of our artifacts and the enchantments and whatnot that we do need for that to happen. But again, we've got 99 cards, or 99 other cards in our deck. and we still need a fairly high number of spirits in this deck or things that make spirits in this deck to actually get that, that number up there. We need to get at least 5 spirits out there. Yeah, sure, that doesn't sound like too many, but we need to run a certain number of things so that we can get to that 5 really easily and really quickly. We obviously, again, also need to run a lot of ramp to get to all that stuff, and to make sure we can get our commander out and cast these. If we want to go down that route of casting all these tutors, we need to have the mana to cast all those tutors on top of having all of these spirits, and then be able to cast our commander as well, so that we can do that sort of thing. So it's not just I'm sure in CDH it'll be a lot easier or whatever, because you have all the fast mana rocks and whatnot, but again, what's your payoffs? Like, there's no, besides, you getting infinite spirits, there's nothing, I can think of that's in white and blue, unlike black, that would have a lot of life, draining effects and whatnot, that sort of thing. There's not that sort of thing in white where we can just, go, oh, well, cool, we've got infinite things or whatnot. So how do we actually win? We can wait till our upkeep, or our next turn rather, after we've made all of these, or we could just do it at somebody's end step, or unless we probably have to have flash to do that. But it's still, if we could find another way to do it, if we could make infinite things and then just go to our turn and then be like, okay, cool, punch you, you're all dead. That makes it easy, because then we just have to mass all of our spirits and kill people. And that's what our deck sort of wants to do. So we're going to have to look through this deck, see what's in it, because again, I haven't looked. See what we can take out, what stuff's not really that good, because they always put, stuff that's not really that good in here, like guild gates, things like that and whatnot, just cards that don't really do anything, cards that have a very small effect or whatnot, don't really synergize too much. So we really want good spirits that we can play this deck with, and we want to have this other plan. We don't want to just have this plan where we make infinite mana or make infinite spirits, because that's great, but then how do we win? We need something else. We need to be able to, not just, oh, well, we made infinite spirits, but then somebody goes, oh, okay, cool, board wipe you. We need, and again, yes, we do have some, tricky stuff in this deck, but again, we need more of that sort of stuff. We need to make sure that we can protect what we're doing, or we need a backup plan, or we need to find ways to sack some of these other token spirits so that we can get card advantage, or so that we can return, our commander or whatnot, or we can do other things. We can get our other spirits back, or we can get down on that beatdown plan. So, or if we're making spirits, are we going down the way of making tokens? Are we going anointed procession? Are we going to double our tokens and, get more and more out of it? Can we sack, some of our tokens to start getting mana and things like that? So we have to start looking at, where we can go with this deck, because we can't just rely on one game plan just to be like, oh, I'll get things, whatever. That's great, but again, where's the actual way to win? Because there's no, blue-white, thing that says whenever a creature of yours dies, you deal a damage, or everyone loses life, or whatever, things like that. So we've really got to find another way to close out the game with this. So we better get on into it and see what we can do to upgrade this deck and make it better, and make it able to compete and able to actually win the game, rather than just oh, cool, I can do this one interesting thing here, but how does that actually come together, and how many do we really want to go down that route? So we better get into it and have a look. Hey there, guys, how's it going today? Adam here again with another one of the... Oh, well, actually, we've done this bit, haven't we? Alright, so here we go. We're having a quick look at the Spirit Squadron deck here now on MTG Goldfish. And yeah, we're just going to check it out, have a bit of a look at this deck list and whatnot. It does show you the tabletop price up here at the top. And it does include the new cards, including the Face Commander, So that is there. But I will take like a lot of these prices with a grain of salt, because it's early release. Prices are always in flux. La di da. This always happens every single year. There's always the price flux because once things get reprinted, they go down, and then they'll go back up again. Of course, new cards, we don't know how good some of these new cards are. Some people think that, oh yes, this one's really good, but then later on down the road, gets a bit cheaper, whatnot. We'll wait and see where everything lays out. So this is just a rough price, but we'll have a quick look through it. I'm not really going to go over it too much. Not going to go through too many of the amazing reprints or whatnot. I used to do that, but I don't really think it's relevant. Like, there's some good cards here, certainly, and whatnot, but there's just not enough to go through. So, like, some of the cards, obviously, again, you'll see that some of them don't have prices because they're new cards, again. So, again, the prices aren't there for some of these new cards. Some of the new cards are quite interesting. Some of them are alright. Some of them are pretty good. I haven't looked at them all completely yet. I've just sort of skimmed through a little bit. But, it's nice to see some of these cards. Certainly, and again, they've put some, I'll put the emphasis on some decent cards in this deck. But again, to me, when I was looking at it, it sort of was a little bit below what the Vampire deck was at. But then again, Vampire's pretty popular, pretty expensive, because a lot of people want to build Vampires. So, this deck, it's there, as I was saying, and I was thinking about this commander, like, what do we want to do? Like, we want to get our commander out for cheap somehow. So, I was thinking, let's start looking at what we want to do with this deck to upgrade it and make it a bit better. And whenever this or another token dies, deals combat damage, we create a spirit. So, are we on Aristocrat's plan? Probably not. So I think you want to attack with it. So we want things that do stuff when they enter, like make spirits especially, or when they die, perhaps something like that, or things that do stuff when they deal combat damage, especially drawing cards, things like that, tapping and untapping stuff, things like that. Lots of different little things like that. ETBs are the best, but of course, we still want some of those other things. So when we're on the look through this deck and we're looking for cards to potentially card, the cards that don't fit into that, besides just things that are just purely not amazingly good, or just not great, or just bad, other cards that we'll look to cut. So, again, there are some decent-ish cards in here. Again, you'll see lots of caps here. And as I say, that price doesn't include a lot of the new cards, because again, a lot of the new cards don't even have a price. So, take everything with a grain of salt when you're looking at some of this. And I'm just finishing, having a quick skim through here. Again, I never really go through every single card and remember every single card, because it's impossible to, pretty much. You'll find that you go and say, oh, this card will be good in the deck, and it's already in the deck. That happens a bit. This one's quite good. That one's a good reprint for this deck. Definitely hallowed Spirit Keeper. But anyway, yeah, you find that a lot where, you just go, oh, yeah, this is a big good card. And then you realise, oh, it's in the deck. Oh, okay, cool. Well, good thing I said it was a good card for the deck, I was right. So it's interesting that they didn't put the talisman in here. They put the talisman in the last one, didn't they, I think? And yeah, I just don't understand why they don't reprint them a bit more. But anyway, as I've looked through this, we've had a pretty good look through it now. So, no, not read every single, new card. I'm not going to read every single new card 100%, because not much point. So we're going to move on and see what we can potentially add to this deck, and then, you know, what I would suggest cutting besides just like bad tap lands and things like that, or, you know, slightly too expensive mana rocks and things like this, whatnot, and some of the non-synergy cards, or some of the synergy cards that could just be better and things like that. So yeah, we'll go ahead and have a quick look at that. Alright, so now we're over on the Commander deck EDH rec page. So we're going to have a look at this guy's Commander decks and what we could put in. Yeah, we do want spirits, and we do want buffs for spirits, so we want Spirit Lords. Petition Guy's pretty good. Makes our spells from graveyard one cheaper to cast. We might cast some spells from a graveyard, that might be alright. But just flying 2/2, fine. Like, Spectral Adversary being $5, actually, I didn't realize it was that cheap. Oh, it was a mythic. I thought, oh, it'd be worth quite a bit. It's okay, but again, we're playing Spirit Tribals, or basically mostly playing Spirit Tribals, so we've got to make some sort of cuts for like what our expectations would be for a deck like this. Guardian Faith's pretty darn good, actually. I think it belongs in some other decks out there. It protects your board, whatnot, and it's also a creature, so that's pretty good. 3/2 Vigilance, and whatever. But sure, like, we'll take it. We'll take what it is because it's flash and saves our board. Desolated Beach, absolutely. If you can, like, again, no matter what, like, you've got, like, if you have it, or if you have the ability to pay for a card like this, go ahead, put a card like this in. I'm always going to tell you, play within your budget. If this card, you know, like, isn't in your budget, or any other card isn't in your budget, as I always say, don't worry about it. Just skip it and put, you know, a Guild Gate or something in, or whatever. Even that's fine, you know. Now, we're going to see some Crimson Vow cards. They're not coming out till later in the week, I believe, or the end of the week, or whatever it is. But anyway, yeah, these are great cards that you can put in your deck. Like, when the set comes out, there's going to be a lot of cards from this set. A clone, you know, we can clone our best spirit, like, and then we can get the other side back into play from Disentomb, which can be one cheaper with Patrician Ghost as well, so that's something there, I think. And it can enchant one of our things or something, whatever, and we can get a copy of it every turn, which is pretty darn good. So, yep, that's definitely a good card to pick up. Yeah, Drogskull Captain, just like the classics, Supreme Phantom, Rattle Chains, Mausoleum Wanderer. You're basically just like playing like almost like the best of the best, like things that people play in Modern or Pioneer or whatnot as well. So like some of the prices are up there a little bit because these do see some play in those formats. So just traditionally things that you would normally think of. Shacklegeist, that's pretty cheap as well. Remorseful Cleric, you know, we maybe want to exile somebody's graveyard in a game, but we're just playing it because it's a decent spirit and it does something else. I didn't even know that Kira was a spirit. I didn't remember that. Like, it's played in Merfolk, and I knew it wasn't a Merfolk, but I didn't remember what its type was, but it's a decent thing that can protect our team a little bit. Kind of helpful. I didn't even remember that Imperial Eagle was also a spirit, so that's pretty darn good as well. And it's very cheap on the budget, as you would say, so, you know, that can be worth it. Of course, Spellquella, amazing. Spectral Sailor, pretty good. Amble Heist, what does this guy do? Whenever a spirit under your control... yeah, that's fine. Selfless Spirit, that's fine too. Although it is like $6 or so. So it's still quite good. I would say if you, again, can swing the budget, or you just so happen to have one, it's probably fine to try to get one. Clarion Spirit. I didn't even if we've got enough cheap stuff, this can be really good. And I do think this deck does seem a little bit low to the ground, so that could be really good. Geist of State Trapped. I didn't even remember that he was a spirit. He's not amazing, but he makes another 4/4. It's an angel though, so I don't know, but still, it's another spirit, and it does something else, and it's hexproof. But the thing is, I don't know, yeah, this thing will die pretty quickly, so I don't know. You want to try to protect it, give it unblockable or something like that. Or buff its defense at least. If it has high defense, that makes up for it having low power. I'll take it having 1 power and all the toughness, because at least then it's going to survive combat. So yeah, I would think about it if it's pretty good. If it's pretty good, but if you can get it. Of course, we want a swords. I'm not a huge fan of counter spells in general, but also I don't think counter spells actually very good in decks like this. It is okay, but 2 blue is sort of a big warning sign to everyone that you have a counter spell. If we have 1 white and 1 blue open, then people won't be as oh, he's got counterspell. It's fully warning, and plus 2 blue is sort of harder. And it's not impossible, no, but it's just so clunky sometimes to have to leave up 2 blue specifically. For counterspell, it's much easier to leave up blue and 1 or whatever than just double blue. So I wouldn't really think about it. You can use it again if you really want to, but I'd just take a negate or something like that. Gonna do most of the job that you want. Windborne Muse, yeah, sure, why not? That's fine. Reconnaissance mission, anything that's like this, like Coastal Piracy, whatever the other one is, Biden of Thassa, things like this. When we hit, we want to draw cards, because we've got basically a very, low to the ground flying aggro deck. For the most part, that's got some shenanigans going on in it. We've got the ability to counter spells, and that's another reason why I would say you don't need to counter spell that much, because our spirits act as counter spells and removal and stuff like that as well. So those are things that we don't 100% need on spells. We want them on bodies the most. Don't worry about getting Smothering Tithe, though. If you have it, toss it in. It's great. Of course, Path, yeah, sure. If you really have one or want to, it's fine. I didn't even know Karmic Guide was a spirit. Or forget the Karmic Guide's a spirit. That's pretty cool. Yeah, toss Karmic Guide in here. That's cool. Hanged Executioner. It makes a 1/1 or another 1/1, so we're getting two flying power for 3. Not too bad. We exile it and we exile another thing, so that's fine. If we've got lots of flicker effects, which we might look at putting some flicker effects in this deck, which is fine. But again, if we put it in our graveyard, whatever, we can just have that sort of free-ish or extra card-ish sort of ability with this card. So it's just another nice spirit that you can put in your deck. Skyclave Apparition. I don't like these effects that basically exile things until this thing leaves, but it's a spirit and it's pretty decent, so you can definitely run it. Bygone Bishop. We're going to cast a lot of our creatures. Most of our creatures are going to be entering the battlefield from our casting things. We might make some tokens here and there, but for the most part we are casting our stuff, and this is a spirit, gives us some clues to sack for card advantage. Yeah, that's absolutely great. As I was saying, I really wish they'd put the blue-white talisman in this deck already. It's over $15, and if it had got a reprint, that would have been really great, and it would have dropped the price down, and I wouldn't have to sit here and say, well, if you've got it, or if you can really afford it because it's really expensive, yeah, go ahead. But otherwise, unfortunately, it's one of those cards that, since they won't reprint it for some unbeknownst reason, it just is so hard for anyone to really, get super easy. But absolutely, yeah, if you've got one, or if you've got the means to get one, absolutely toss it in. Generous gifts, great too. Kindred Discovery, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but again, it is quite well worth it, because when we'll just name Spirit, whenever our spirits enter the battlefield, we'll draw a card. Whenever our spirits attack, they don't have to deal combat damage, we'll draw a card, which is really good. So this is a very, very good card for this deck. Again, if you can afford it, if you can get your hands on it, if you've got one, whatever, all that stuff, all that good stuff. Dovin's Veto, I think I like Dovin's Veto a lot more than Counterspell, because again, you don't have to have blue, you can have blue-white, and this is uncounterable, so I really like it a lot more. It's a lot easier in a lot of circumstances to have blue and white open than blue and blue, in my opinion. Plus, like, white could symbolize like Swords to Plowshares or Path to Exile or whatever. So again, I just find that it'll be much easier to sort of answer, or won't be as easy to sort of somebody guess what you've got, as far as like removal, if you're holding up white and blue, rather than just like blue. Alright, Ghostly Prilfra. That's pretty good. Again, like, the thing is, we just need spirits, and we'll take as many spirits as we can get. If it does something else and it's pretty decent, it's cool, especially since this one's unblockable, and we can pay 2 when it becomes untapped and draw a card. That's pretty nice. Ethereal Valkyrie, that's really cool. Like, I actually had that in my Flicker deck for a little while, and while I had that deck for 5 minutes, whatever it was, but still, like, it's a really good card. Just foretelling things for us and things like that. Making them 2 mana cheaper essentially, with that foretell, whatnot. So that's really good. Drawing us extra cards, really good. Wow, that's interesting. So you can bounce it back to your hand. That's kind of cool. So you can just keep destroying artifacts with this thing. That's okay. Oh, enchantments rather. Enchantments, not artifacts. That is interesting. I don't know whether that's that good, but in getting rid of enchantments, like I said, Rexage wasn't that good, but still, like, it's a spirit, so it's on tribe. It only gets rid of enchantments though, so but we might just take it. That might be a meta call or whatever. If people are running lots of enchantments. Unsettled Marina, it is a shapeshifter though, but it does protect everything, but it only gives them essentially Ward 1 or whatever. So not the most exciting pickup, but certainly it's okay. I don't like this one. I don't think it does a lot, but like, when you're talking Spirit Tribal, maybe it's good enough. Does this bounce? Yeah, I think this just bounces. Oh, it can bounce itself too. That's pretty cool. Turn target spirit card from your graveyard to your hand. No, I don't think that's that good. Soul Herder. I didn't even remember Soul Herder was a spirit. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, this is great. Like, we have some ETB stuff. As I sort of was saying, we might want to go deeper on some of that ETB stuff. So, yeah, absolutely. And it's fairly cheap. So that's all right. Wow, Illusionary Cemetery Illuminator is about $10 right now. But again, those prices are in flux. So, you know, it doesn't matter. So I think that that's pretty darn good if we can get it, you know. Adobe. That's pretty cool. I keep forgetting like all these random old spirits and whatnot. This could be a really cool deck to dig into if you're like wanting to go down this route. Flash flying and a big buff to, or a bit of a buff to your white stuff. Like half of our stuff's probably going to be white. That's still pretty good though. Flash flyer 2/2. Oh, no one can respond because of this split second. Drogster Reaver. I was looking at this for some life gain or something deck, I think, or something like that. Whenever you gain life, you draw cards, and it just has double strike lifelink. So you gain 6 life and draw 2 cards when it hits. No matter what, even if they block or whatever. So, you know, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I really think this is a great card, you know. Gains you a little bit of life. Like, one of the things about decks like this is they tend to be, like, more controlling. Like, it's one of Azorius's things, is it's tending to be a bit more controlling. So you're going to gain a bit of life and try to stall out the game a little bit so that you can get to your late game and really wreck some face. I didn't even remember Braga was a spirit. You know, like, it's weird when you start looking at some of these cards, go, oh yeah, that's a spirit. Don't even realise. Braga's really good, and he's pretty darn cheap. Flickers your whole team when he hits, or he flickers all your permanents when he hits. So yeah, that's pretty good. Whenever put a counter on it, put a token into play. Okay, that's interesting. I think that was actually in the pre-con list that we were just looking at, but I didn't really read it. Whenever you play a spirit, whoa, that's pretty darn good. Oh, it's 6 mana, so that's why. Or it's actually 7. Oh no, 6. Sorry. Me and my maths bags sometimes. But yeah, still that's pretty good. 25 cents. You know, late game is the game. That's okay. Kami enters the battlefield, gain life. And you can put a spirit into play. Is this a spirit on the back? It is. Okay. Okay. That's okay as well. The opponent controls upkeep if there are 4 or more cards. Tap token. Yeah. Okay. So you slow them down. Dungeon Geist does a lot of the same stuff, tapping their stuff. That's pretty good. Mirror Entity can be really good because, again, when you get to late game, you can just buff up all your stuff and close out the game with having your stuff all buffed up. So that's pretty good. Battleground Geist. I didn't even know about this card. Oh, this was from Jumpstart. That's probably why. There's so many random like Jumpstart cards that you might not have ever seen very much because you just like there was so little Jumpstart going around like before, and like I like you don't really pay attention to a lot of it. Kami, what does he do? Or Kiega. Gain control of a creature. That's okay. I'd rather it do something else or do a bit more, but it's a 5/5 flyer. Not terrible. Like, if we were on a stealing our opponent's stuff plan, which I know some people find really fun, yeah, that'd be okay, but like, I don't subscribe to that. I don't think that that's that cool. Oh, Raynar's a spirit. Okay. Yeah, Raynar's a spirit. And we make spirits from exiling stuff or whatnot, or when we cast stuff. That's cool. Yeah, actually Raynar would be good for this deck. Faithbound Judge. Like, this one was... I was niggling at thinking about this, but the enchantment side just seemed so slow, in my opinion, that I just didn't really think much about it. But when you're talking, like, it's Spirit Tribal, and I have a 4/4 Defender, and you're sort of a late game deck anyway, might be alright. Some of these that are auras on the back, basically they mostly do what their front side does. Spark Double's very good if you can pay for one. He's only like $9 up there. Danik's not very impressive. Yeah, that's okay, but again, combat, yeah, that's okay too. That's pretty cool. So yeah, if you get Dreamscape Geist in your pre-release or in your box or whatever, that one was pretty good. This one was in the pre-con, I believe, when we were looking at it. That's pretty good. Oh wow, that's kind of dumb. You cast a thing that basically blows itself up. Target a spell, sacrifice it. That's kind of cool. Giving multiple things unblockables pretty good. And offenses kind of cool. Didn't really remember that she was a spirit either. Nibblers of Frost, kind of cool. Foreboding Spirits. I didn't even remember this was a spirit, man. There's so many like weirdo spirits that you forget. Oh yeah, that's a spirit. As I said, but I know it's so crazy. That's pretty much it for the creatures. And as I said, this is mostly a creature focused deck. We'll quickly look through instant sorceries. Of course, Rift if you've got the money or you've got the ability to get it. Interludes, okay. Like a lot of the really good cards like Force of Will, again, I'll just say anything that's like over $10 or so, if you've got the money to get any of these cards or you've got these cards, of course they're really good. Reality Shift's really nice. Pongify's okay. There's some okay like cards, especially like Mystical Tutor, things like that. Faithful Mending, okay. What else is here? What else have we got? Disenchant, Force of Negation, Arcane Denial. Actually, Arcane Denial is okay. Saw it coming. It might be alright for a fact that you got a foretell, but it's another like counter spell. So, but then it is 1 and a blue, but it's 2 and a blue to foretell. So, 4 mana to get a, like 2 mana to get a 1/1. I don't know. Plus counter thing. I don't know. Crib swaps, okay. Actually, it's kind of cool, but no. Brainstorm only for decks that care about like top deck manipulation, I think, and can have a lot of like shuffle effects, things like that. So quickly we'll look through sorceries. Same thing. Vanquish the Horde's pretty good. Supreme Verdict counter, that's pretty good. Draw a card for each spirit we control. That's pretty cool. Like when you look at cards like this, like you forget that card. Like I've never seen this card, or if you've seen this card, you go, "Wow, I forgot about that card." Distant Melody, that's okay too. Happy Regenerator. Each creature just its controller puts us. Wow, that's actually pretty much of souls. Like you see some of these weird old spells that you just like have not seen. That's kind of cool. Spectral Procession, Windfall. Yeah, that's cool, dude. I love Winds of Abandon. Winds of Abandon is so good. Oh my god. I put Winds of Abandon in every deck that has white. It's just too good. Get rid of your whole board, and mine's still here. Oh, what? Okay. Oh, you get a whole bunch of lands? I don't care. I'll just kill you. Winged Words can be pretty good. We're going to have a lot of flyers because we're spirits, so that's okay. Austere Command's okay-ish, especially since you can choose 2. That's what really makes it, I think. Ponder. What utility artifacts can we get in here? Oh yeah, Biden of Thassa. Maybe Skull Clamp. Herald's Horde can be okay if your density of creatures is high enough. So yeah, that can be really good. Just like the ability to give your stuff one cheaper mana. Sometimes you'll hit off the top. Mostly you'll hit off the top in a deck like this where it's a higher density of creatures that are on tribe. It is like $10 though, so again, Skullclamp's about 10 too. Well, Vanquish's Banner's like 12. Coat of Arms is pretty good, but it is like 15. Door of Destinies is 19, dude. My dude. Obelisk of Earth is actually pretty darn good, but we need a lot of things to tap down really to make it, worthwhile casting. If it had Flash, it'd be insane. Archaeomancer's maps could be okay as well. Sword of the Anime is really good. Icon of Ancestry, all really good. Most of these are, these two are about $5-6. Map is like 20, jeez, dude. It's like $3 for Obelisk of Earth. Absolutely get a Wayfarer's Bauble in here. Get a Bauble in here. Get it in here. Now, if you have Urza's Incubator or you have a spare 40 odd bucks, yep, sure. That's pretty good, but so much money for Urza's Incubator, dude. But that's all those weird decks that are out there trying to do crazy different shenanigans and whatnot with basically making your creatures 0 mana and things like that, or whatever. Anointed Procession can be okay. I hate Rhystic Study so much, but it's so good. But we don't need it. You don't need it, and I think you can find better things that aren't as expensive. Reflections of Littjara, so good. So good. We just name spirits with this. We clone all our spirits. Yes, sure. Some of our legendary spirits will die, but whatever. We'll just get more and more spirits, and if they've got good ETBs, then we'll get even more of that ETB. So, what does this thing do? Enters the battlefield, under your control, pay white. If you do create a spirit, okay. Sacrifice. Okay, alright. That's so weird. When you make decks like this is the cool thing about making a deck like this, where you just, I've never really made a deck like this. I haven't looked at any spirit tribal decks because I'm just tribal boo. But when you look at these cards, it's oh wow, I've never even heard of this card. This is a cool card. Yeah, Coastal Piracy, said that before. Creature, that's pretty good. Rally the Ranks. Yep, that's pretty good. Favorable Winds, we're going to have a few flyers. Non-token creature, put it into a graveyard. I'll make a spirit. Oh, that's pretty cool. But it's only one. Cathar's Crusade can be good. Angel's Grace. The 1/1 spirits are good because the spirits were spirits. We don't really want the angels, but we do want the monarch. But the monarch's probably going to be taken for us. But then again, we can probably get it back pretty easy because we've got a bunch of flyers. So maybe Radiant Destiny is actually pretty cool. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. But we might have the City's Blessing, but once we get it, we've got it. So yeah, that could be good. We don't want too many enchantments and stuff that don't really make spirits or do stuff specifically with spirits. We don't want too many support pieces. We want just enough that cover all the things that we can't really like do with our creatures, things like that. So land tax is amazingly good. I don't like it, but it is amazingly good. Just drawing 3 cards every single turn is really good. So if you got it or you got the money for it, definitely. Intangible Virtue can be alright. We're not making that many tokens, so maybe not. It's okay though if you do go down a more token-centric route. Aegis Insight can be okay to draw more cards if we're drawing lots of cards, but whether we're really doing that. D-Sphere, it's okay. I don't know whether we need to look through too many of the utility lands. Amiria's okay, but getting there. Creature card from your graveyard, boo. Don't know whether we need any of these. Like, if we got an Ancient Tomb, of course, put it in there. It's fine. Castle Venturous. Scrolling 2. Yellow, no. I don't. I was thinking, where's, like, I think maybe Temple on that might be down here. It's interesting to look at and see where, like, they put some cards as this is utility land, but this is not. Interesting. These were all in the pre-con, these 3. Thought Vessel, yep. You know, if you got one, get it in. You can get one for pretty cheap. Felwa Stone, same thing. Like, again, if you're, like, playing at a higher table, Mana Crypt can be good. Got the money for it, again, really good. But otherwise, don't worry about it. Like, just get a Mind Stone or something, it's fine. Mind Stone's like 99 cents, dude. So that's pretty good. Command Sphere, no. Don't need these mocks that much unless you really want it. And again, if you've got the money. Lens, pretty darn good. What about lands? Just let's quickly look through lands. They had Command Tower in that deck, I'm pretty sure. Like, they had a lot of basics in there, dude, but I don't know how many, like, other lands they actually had. Like, didn't have that many. I don't even think they had, I don't know whether they had Prairie Stream now. I can't remember, dude. Actually, let's cheat. And we'll look. So Chancery, Orchard, Moreland. Oh, okay, that's in the deck already. Oh, Path of Ancestors is pretty good because we scry one. Port Town, not amazing. Oh yeah, Prairie Stream was in there. Cloud Expanse, not very good. Enlightenment, whatever. And Unclaimed Territory. Okay. Fair enough, but still not amazing. So that's in the deck. Glacial Fortress, Hull Fountain, they're really good, of course. I don't like Nimbus Maze, but I think it's actually kind of better than what I think it is. Because if we have an island or a plains, it just taps for our colours pretty easily. So, and it comes in untapped, otherwise it just makes colours. So it's okay. Sea Cloud's really good. We've got Path of Ancestry, we don't need that. I didn't really like the pathways. Some people like them, I don't particularly like them. Cabin of Souls, you got an extra $90, dude? No? Okay. How about no then? But still, like, if you have it and you're worried about counter spells, yeah, it's really good. Port Town was in there. Fetch Land, of course, if you got it. Tucker Waste, Irrigated Farmland. No. Need it. Claimed was in there. Don't need a Tundra that much. Ooh, Glacial Floodplain's pretty darn good though, and it's very cheap. That's a very good tap land to get because there's so much stuff that searches out like plains and things like that, you know, lands like this that are dual lands are really good. I don't think there's much else. Nah, that's pretty much it. Oh, actually, gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. That's pretty good, but still, that's more of a call. Like if you're like really like digging into like the nitty gritties of like, oh well, I want one more utility land or something. So let's go back and have a look at the deck properly now and see what we can cut. Alright, now as I said, like I didn't 100% read every single card that was in this deck, and I probably suggested a whole bunch of cards that are already in this deck, but whatever. That's what happens. Sailor's in here. What's this? Pilfer's in here. Is this a spirit? It is a spirit. I don't like this because it gives our opponents cards as well. If you want to keep it in there for shits and gigs, that's fine. But to me, get it out of here. This isn't a spirit, but it's very important to our deck's ramp package. So I'll keep this in. Rattle Chain's really good. Remorseful Cleric, Shacklegeist. Like I said, I didn't really read all of the cards. Because there's too much to read and I've got too much to do. I ain't got no time for this stuff. I don't like Boros Challenger. And it's a bit too much mana for it to do what I want it to. Oh, I don't think it should do. It's not a spirit. It is a flyer though. But in another deck, I think. Not this one. Bygone Bishop. What does this guy do? I forget. Oh yeah, he's good. I can't remember every single card's effect every single time. He's in here. He's alright. Executioner. Mentor of the Meek. Again, it's not a spirit, but it's card draw. We need some card draw in here. And we need to be able to draw cards whenever we do something. Mirror Entity's really good. Oh yeah, that's cool. Cleric. That's okay. But it's a human. So this is a maybe. I would say that could come out pretty easily. Shepherd. Oh yeah, that one's good. Cool. This is a cleric, and it costs like 3 mana to get a whole bunch of counters. You know, like it gets those counters, but then it costs 3 to make 1. No, get that out of here. What? That is kind of cool. That is very, very cool, except the fact that he's a human in this spirit deck. But that is very cool. That is extremely cool. Spirit Soldier. Melee's okay. Not amazing. Ooh, that's actually kind of good. It's actually kind of cool. Partner. What's this other Geist dude? Tim the Geist. Where's that? Didn't see it. Or have I not? Oh, it's down here, sorry. Which one was I looking at? This guy? No? Oh, this guy. So, controls. This is very weird, and it only works with the other guy. Really, I think. Or it only works with itself. This is kind of cool, and there's another, like, sub-commander theme or whatever that's probably going on in this deck, but I'd get it out of here because it's not doing what we want it to do, and it's only really helping itself. It's not helping the rest of the deck. Wow, that's kind of cool, actually. Yeah, that's in here. It's fine. Oh, as I said, that's okay, but I'd rather have spirits, like, mostly, like, this is okay, but, like, we will find something to replace that. Ooh, Will of the Counts is kind of cool, but I hate the fact that everyone else gets a vote, so maybe not, you know. That's cool. Youth Geist, wow. He's actually a spirit. That's actually kind of good. I'd keep him in here, but I'd take out his counterpart, essentially. But then again, you're losing out on the tutor sort of thing, whatever, but I still think that this guy will actually do stuff for the deck, whereas the other guy just seems to be doing his own thing over in a corner. That's good. Nadomi's in here. Okay, that's cool. Okay, Denial's pretty good. I'm going to look at the other ones in a minute. Once off to get a whole bunch of investigation and then have to pay to... I don't like this. This is like too much mana for like too much investment, I think. Like, and like not enough, nearly enough cards from what you get. Create a token that's a copy of that. Wow. That is interesting. That is super interesting. That is very flavorful. Yeah, that's cool. Keep that in here. Choose an opponent. Okay. I don't love it, but this does make some spirits for us, and that's pretty cool. Cush Contraband's fine. Melody, yup. What's this thing do? Okay, that's interesting, but I think it's a little bit too situational, in my opinion. Though it can be good. We're going to have small creatures, I think. So, you know, we just wrath our opponent's big stuff, and then we can put our other stuff in, our other lords and whatnot, to buff our stuff even more. So that could be good. Flood of Tears. It's funny, haha, but I think we could do a bit better than that. And we've also got other board wipes. This one's okay as well. That one's pretty good. Getting some spirits extra. Yep, well, that's pretty good. That's really good, actually. Like Marble Diamond and Sky Diamond are the only ones here that I'm like I actually hate, but Azorius Locket, Command Sphere, and Midnight Clock are amazing. Either, like, I don't love them. I'm not in love with them either. There's a Dovin in here. A Dovin. So that's kind of cool because when you hit, you draw. Makes Thopters, which is kind of weird. You can keep it in if you really want to, but I would take the weak Planeswalker out and replace it with an enchantment that's less likely to die. That's okay. That's actually like better than the Clue one. Take out Darksteel Mutation 2. What's this thing do? Wow, that's actually kind of good. Though, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting, at least. Oh, it's 2 mana. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But you have to pay 1 every time. Then again, you might want to hold up that mana. So, that is interesting, though. I'd take Ghostly Prison out of here because we've got the spirit that basically does the same thing, and we want more spirits. We want, like, most of our deck to be spirits. This is an okay card at best. If we have it on a body, then it's a lot better. Imprison in the Moon, same thing as Darksteel. I'll probably get it out of here. Not that good. Hummus al Brunei. Well, this is an okay, but it's a once-off. We haven't got much enchantment recursion, so I'd take it out. Does Verity Circle do? Oh yeah, you can tap stuff, and if stuff gets tapped for not an ability, you draw cards. That's okay. I'd take it out though. Cusp. Oh, that's really good. That is so good. Oh my god, that is insane. That is absolutely insane. Yes, keep that in here. That is so good. Field of Souls. Oh, okay. That's okay. You can take that out too if you really wanted. Reconnaissance mission is pretty good. And just like last thing will be like any of these bad tap lands that you just don't need. Like even Moorland Haunt. I don't think you need to exile your stuff. Why you do this? You don't need to do this. Port Town as well. I think it's a little too. These cards are a little too inconsistent for my liking, but you can keep it in if you really like. Sky Cloud. I hate Sky Cloud so much because you have to have another mana untapped to actually activate it. Enlightenment, terrible. Get it out of here. Temple of Foxglot, not even a real card. And Unclaimed Territory is okay. But yep, that's pretty much it, guys. Just going through this deck and having a look through it and seeing what we could cut and what we could like add. There's some other cool cards throughout there that I might have missed here and there, but that was just like the recommendation sort of stuff. But that's at least a good sort of start for you guys if you guys want to build a deck like this. I know there's much more hype for the vampire deck, but like this is here. So if there's some people that are interested in this one, I hope you'll that this was helpful to you. You can let me know your thoughts. Write them down there somewhere in the comments below. I'll be sure to try to respond to all comments. I really enjoy interacting with you guys, talking about all these geeky things that we all love. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, whatever that is. Or I'll see you down there in the comments below. Hey, you've just finished watching one of our videos. A bunch of other videos are popping up on your screen now for you to check out, so why not check them out?